What's happening, y'all? Rich Sosa coming back at you with another video today. And before we get started, I gotta say thank God King Jesus for another day and another opportunity. Comment down TG for thank God and where you're tuning in from, and I'll definitely be sure to get back to you with a response. So if you clicked on today's video, as you can see today, we're going to be making the two-way rim attacker. Now this is going to be an exact Michael Jordan build, and I really made it closely to exactly how he played back in the day. So with this build today, man, I'm telling y'all it's going to be very special. We're going to have comparisons not only of Michael Jordan, but we get elite contact dunks on this build, pro dribble animations, and on top of that, bro, a 99 plus when it comes towards that driving dunk and driving layup. You can definitely consider this build to be one of the best rare two-ways, and I think it's honestly one of the best slashers that you can possibly make right now as of season 1. So before we get any further, if it's your first time coming through, be sure to hit that sub button if you're new, smash that like button, turn on post notifications to be a part of the Rich family. Now let's go ahead and get into the breakdown of this build. So starting out with the position, we're going to put it under the shooting guard. As you get to that height, you got to go one tick up to 6'6", and then for that weight, let's go with 195. Now as you get into the wingspan, I'm going to go with 6'11", so one tick up, and this is going to be perfect to set this build up. Now I'll tell you right now, there's a few different ways to make it, but with this build and the way that I'm creating it today, I took into account adding cap breakers, so down the road, you're really going to want to pay attention to that. And then also when it comes towards the badges. So when it comes towards that finishing, the close shot, I'm going to put this up to an 84. Now once we get into that driving layup, I'm going to go with a 93. And then once we get into that driving dunk, man, this is going to go up to a 93 as well. Now I specifically went with this number in order to get the contact dunks, and I think this is going to be perfect to move forward. Now for that standing dunk, I'm going to put this up to a 72. And then for that post control, man, let's go with a 77. Now just to make a little bit more sense right here, as when it comes towards these physicals, make sure you go with an 80 for that vertical. Once we get into that strength, I'm going to put this to a 73. Getting into the agility, let's go with a 77. And then once we get into the speed, let's go with an 85. Alright, so this is what we're going to be looking like as far as for the finishing. But look, with the 93 driving dunk, that does allow us to get those contact dunks. On top of that, man, we also get gold posterizer, Hall of Fame aerial wizard, and do take into account if you're using the upgraded badge tier to where it upgrades one badge to the next level. We can either choose to upgrade posterizer, or if you want, you can use your cap breakers down the road. Now that's another story once we complete the build together, but I would highly recommend using possibly your legend, like an upgraded badge tier towards aerial wizard or posterizer. That's what's going to be best on this build. Now for the actual driving layup, you still get silver physical finisher, you get gold float game and layup mixer. Now I think layup mixer is going to be one of the best badges for finishing this year, especially with this build. I'm telling y'all, if you want me to use this build and make it as my second, let me know in the comments and I'll definitely show y'all some gameplay with this. And then with that float game, and then with the close shot, actually, you still get gold float game, you also get silver hook specialist, paint prodigy. I mean, this build is a monster on the interior, especially for the finishing as well. But I think this is the perfect replica of Michael Jordan. Now you see we're already an 85 overall, but we're still going to be pretty effective out of the next 3 areas. So when it comes towards this mid-range shot, I'm going to take a minor hit just so that way I can still play some defense. And remember, we're making it for the actual build name. I made it a few different ways, but the way that I'm bringing it to y'all right now, I think this is going to be the absolute best. So when it comes towards the three-pointer, we're actually going to upgrade this to a 76. Now look, I'm not going to upgrade anything from the three-pointer. You can, but it's going to be upgraded a little bit once you go into that free throw. So I want to be able to take this game or the build into any type of game mode. So I'm going to put the free throw up to a 76. Once we get to the rest of the build, I'm actually going to leave this area as is. But look, we get bronze deadeye, you get set shot specialist, shifty shooter, silver post fade phenom, and then also for that free throw, I think we're still going to be a viable option at the line. So when it comes towards that pass accuracy, let's go with a 75. As you get into that ball handle, I'm going to put this up to an 81. And then for the actual speed with the ball, go with a 75, and that's going to give you silver lightning launch. Now, for the actual dribbling, you do get the pro dribble animations. On top of that, as you can see for the badges, we get bronze ankle assassin, silver handles for days, gold strong handle is going to be key on this build. And then you also get silver unpluckable. And then for the pass accuracy, man, I'm telling y'all the 2 most important badges. Actually, I would say break starter is more important than dimer, but both of these are going to be a huge help to your teammates. Now, Look, I just showed y'all we were already at an 85 overall, and this build is shaping out to be pretty nicely. Now we have 5 more remaining left over for the actual overall. So let's go ahead and put this towards the defensive end. So with the interior, I'm going to go with a 60, 85 when it comes towards the perimeter. And then for the steel, bro, I'm going to go up to an 86. If you want to, this is actually going to be a time where you can make a decision based off what you want to upgrade. So for me, I personally am going to choose to upgrade my block, but if you want to, you can definitely go ahead and upgrade either of these two, rebounding or both of them together. They're pretty cheap on this build, but as far as for the block itself, I'm going to go with a 74. And then once we get to the rebounding on the defensive side, I'm going to put this up to a 60 just to get rebound chaser. So we get box out beast, rebound chaser. On top of that, bronze high flying denier, paint patroller. And I think, bro, paint patroller is one of the most overpowered defensive badges. I've used this on my big man, and only having it on even just the silver tier is a really nice option to go with. Now this is more of a guard, so I'm going to leave it as is. But once we get to that steel, this is where I really took cap breakers into account. Now if you do decide to use your first set of 5 cap breakers towards this build, remember adding the +5 towards that steel, that's going to give you gold glove, bro. So you're going to get both gold glove and interceptor. Now if you do decide to upgrade anything from the perimeter defense, you can definitely do so as well. You know, I like the badges. We get silver challenger, off ball menace. You also get pick dodger, immovable force, bro. Now this is another one that I really like to pair it up with high flying paint patroller. High flying denier really goes hand in hand with paint patroller, especially if you're trying to get blocks in the interior. But immovable force is really important, not only for the interior but on the perimeter, of course. Now we get gold off ball best here, and then to wrap everything up, you know, with the interior being upgraded just a little bit, builds that are bigger than you and taller, you know, big man in general, are really going to have to think about how they're going to attack you on the defensive end, because this high interior defense, if you take into account the takeovers that we get, as you can see, we get above the rim, Dr. Dunkenstein, feathery touch, layup guru, pest, swiper, bro. This is the most important one right here in my opinion. The claw, you also get mirror, slice, finisher, driver, attacking. So really choose any one of these that fits your own playstyle and which areas that you want to upgrade. But I think as far as for the build overall, man, it's pretty crazy that you can get a 99 plus steel on this build. Now on top of that, let's see, are there any other ones that give us a +15? Bro, the driving layup, I'm telling y'all. So for the finishing, if you do decide to use your upgraded tier of badge, you can put it towards layup mixer. And I think pairing that up with, you know, these takeovers really are going to take this build into a completely different level, bro, especially in a setting like the 1s, even the 2s and 3s. Like, this is a really nice build to use in any game mode. So let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Have y'all made this build before? And if you have a build that you want me to try out and create and possibly to even use, let me know in the comments and I'll be sure to definitely get back to y'all. So let me know if there's any types of changes, adjustments that you would recommend on this build. But as far as for it overall, man, we get everything, the animations for the dribbling, the finishing. I think this is a really complete build, and even more so on the defensive end. So let's go ahead and move forward to make sure that everybody made the build correctly. And as you can see, we get that GOAT comparison of Michael Jordan, also D Mitch, and then Amen Thompson, bro. So coming up at this build, we got the 2-way rim attacker, and I just want to say, if you made it to the very end, thank you so much. God bless every single one of you. And you know, with this build, man, I'm telling you, I'm really excited with all of these crazy build names that we have in NBA 2K25. I think this is one of the best years for seeing versatility online, and in, you know, playing against different builds, man. It's always just not only better for the community, but it makes it to where there's not just one overpowered build. And I like seeing variety online. Let me know what y'all think about that down below. And you know, once again, I just gotta say, I thank y'all, you know, I love y'all, and I appreciate the support. And before we get out of here, man, if you have not done so already, and if it's your first time coming through, be sure to hit that sub button if you know, smash that like button, turn on post notifications to be a part of the Rich family, and last but definitely not least, with all that being said though, I got one last thing to say. Rich out.